So actually, we report on the outcome of patients treated with these are transplant non-eligible patients treated with either carfilzomib-based or carfilzomib-thalidomide. It's a prospective randomized comparison. Patients receive 9 cycles, and then they are randomized to 1-year carfilzomib maintenance versus control. So at this point of time, we report on, as the enrollment has not been completed, we report on patients which have been treated so far, but they are combined, both arms are combined. And the question is whether the treatment results in different outcome in patients with high-risk cytogenetics, defined either by translocation 414 and or deletion 17b. That is the usual high-risk definition. And we have another group which we call high-risk plus minus 1q21. So if you have either translocation 414 and or deletion 17p and or amplification of 1q21, you are considered high-risk group number 2. And the question is whether there is a difference in response rate, progression-free survival, and overall survival at this point of time. And so the answer is quite straightforward. When we look at response rates, actually the treatment is almost equally effective in patients with traditional high-risk definition, or as well as in patients with high-risk defined plus minus 1q21 or standard risk. So the overall response rate varies between 90% and 100% with these 3 risk groups. So there's no significant difference. And when we look at patients with very good partial response or better, or CR, there is no significant difference between these 3 groups: standard risk, high risk, or high risk group 2. We also looked at MRD results, but we checked MRD level only in patients with very good partial response or complete response. And actually, we looked at 49 patients, and 45% of those had MRD negativity. So Bruno Paiva did the MRD testing. So it's a high sensitivity, 10 minus 10 to the 6. And so far, of course, patients with MRD positive patients have shorter PFS as compared to MRD negative patients, which is what is to be expected. Overall survival at this point of time doesn't show any difference between the MRD positive and negative patients, but with further follow-up, probably it's very likely that we see a difference in this group. The other question which we raised was whether there is an impact of cytogenetic risk group on the outcome in terms of progression-free survival. And interestingly, when we define high risk for 14 and or deletion 17b, actually patients did poorly with the carfilzomib-based combinations. So they had a shorter progression-free survival as compared to the standard risk patients. But so the progression-free survival was 24 months in the standard risk and 13.5 months in the high-risk patients. But overall survival was similar. And when we looked at the other high-risk group with or without amplification of 1q21, actually there was no significant difference in progression-free survival. So at this point of time, we can summarize and say we have very high response rates. Response rates are quite similar in the different risk groups. Progression-free survival in patients with conventionally defined high-risk cytogenetics. but overall survival is at this point of time similar. And when we looked at the other high-risk group, which includes presence of 1q21, which yes or no, plus presence of 414, plus presence or not deletion 70b. So here the regimens were quite active. There was no difference in PFS. In other words, the treatment is highly active in terms of response rates. In terms of progression-free survival, we have to, I think the median follow-up is at this point of time roughly 50 months. We have to look for longer follow-up in order to have more solid data and to see whether the difference in PFS in the high-risk group still holds true when with longer follow-up. But at this point of time, progression overall survival was similar in both patient groups. So it was relatively well tolerated. The combination carfilzomib-dex, carfilzomib-repdex, but it's as expected. There were minor or in few patients significant toxicities, particularly cardiac toxicity, but overall the regimen was well tolerated.